Imagine spending $75,000 in an effort to locate one individual, only to come up empty. That's the predicament faced by Drake's legal team. After weeks of surveillance, multiple investigators, and 11 separate attempts to serve documents, Kojo Mene Asamoah remained elusive. However, following a decision by Judge Jeanette Vargas of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, the rap icon is now cleared to proceed, though not in the way one might anticipate. Welcome to Celebrity Cookies, where the tea is always hot and the stories come with sprinkles of surprise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your take on the story. This development adds another layer to a legal saga that blends elements of the music industry, celebrity intrigue, and courtroom drama. At its core is the fallout from Kendrick Lamar's Shark diss track, Not Like Us, which ignited controversy in the hip-hop community and is now central to one of the most notable defamation lawsuits in recent years. To provide some context, this case extends beyond music. It involves allegations of corporate sabotage, accusations of secretive industry strategies, and escalating tensions between two major rap figures. In January, Drake initiated a defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group, UMG, the very company that distributes his music through Republic Records. The lawsuit asserts that UMG knowingly promoted and profited from false and harmful claims made in Not Like Us. Since Lamar's music is released under UMG's Interscope label, Drake's team contends that UMG sought to exploit a viral moment that, according to Drake, crossed the line from entertainment into defamation. The lawsuit's language is quite serious. Drake's lawyers accuse UMG of publishing, promoting, exploiting, and monetizing statements they knew to be false. While rap feuds often feature bold assertions, this particular case is being examined not in the public arena but in a federal court in New York. Now let's talk about Kojo Mene Asamoah. According to Drake's team, Asamoah is not just an arbitrary name. They believe he possesses insider information regarding what they term UMG's covert tactics to disseminate the defamatory material. In simpler terms, they suspect Asamoah may have played a role in directing payments or incentives to third parties involved in online botting, a tactic used to artificially inflate the streaming numbers of Not Like Us. Judge Vargas encapsulated Drake's claims in her ruling, directly quoting from the lawsuit. Plaintiff alleges that Mr. Asamoah possesses knowledge relating to UMG's use of covert tactics to promote the defamatory material, including because plaintiff believes that Mr. Asamoah was involved in directing payments and/or financial incentives from UMG to third parties involved in online botting for the purpose of artificially inflating the streaming numbers of the recording. Here's the issue. Drake's team was unable to locate him, despite their extensive efforts. They went all out, employing process servers, private investigators, and checking multiple addresses across various cities. They monitored locations associated with Asamoah, his family, and his business activities. After 11 attempts, they still had no success. It felt like they were pursuing a phantom. Court documents filed on August 6th reveal that these efforts were not half-hearted. They involved weeks of surveillance and significant financial expenditure aimed at delivering a subpoena to one individual. When these attempts failed, Drake's lawyers requested the court's permission for alternative service, which would allow them to deliver the legal documents through other methods rather than in person. Judge Vargas approved this request. As a result of the ruling, Drake's team is now allowed to send copies of the subpoena to 5 different addresses associated with Asamoah, his family, and his business. Additionally, they can email the subpoena to 3 confirmed active email addresses. Essentially, the court is indicating, you've made enough efforts to find him. Deliver it in any way that you can reasonably ensure he receives it. This is a victory for Drake's side, but it doesn't conclude the matter. UMG is not remaining silent about this situation. The music industry giant has consistently denied any involvement in botting, dismissing Drake's allegations as foolish and frivolous legal theatrics. In their public statements, they have characterized the lawsuit as an exaggerated attempt to escalate a rap rivalry into a legal battle. They also have their own counterarguments. UMG has highlighted what they perceive as inconsistencies in Drake's legal approach. They noted that last November in Texas, Drake's team initiated another set of legal actions, with much fanfare and bluster, only to quietly withdraw them by April. UMG argues that this pattern, starting with a lot of noise and then backing down, diminishes the credibility of Drake's claims. They also point out that Drake has retracted some allegations from his initial filing in January. UMG argues that this isn't merely a coincidence, it could be a strategy to avoid penalties for making false claims in court. Additionally, there's the Super Bowl aspect to consider. In April, Drake's legal team brought in their lawsuit to include Kendrick Lamar's performance of Not Like Us during the Super Bowl 59 halftime show. This performance gained attention when the phrase, certified pedophile, was censored from the broadcast. Drake's team contends that the NFL made this decision deliberately, censoring only that particular word while allowing the rest of the performance to air uncensored. The implication is that the original and censored version was even more damaging. That halftime show was not only significant, it was historic. According to Billboard, it became the most watched Super Bowl performance ever, attracting 133.5 million viewers. This represents a huge audience for any message, especially one central to a federal defamation lawsuit. UMG's legal defense heavily relies on First Amendment protections. In their motion to dismiss the revised lawsuit, submitted in May, they argue that rap lyrics, particularly in the context of a diss track, are non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole rather than factual statements. They are essentially telling the court, this is art. It's part of hip-hop tradition where exaggeration and provocation are integral to the craft. You can't treat them as if they were sworn testimony. Moreover, it's not just UMG making this argument. A week after UMG filed their motion, a group of scholars from the University of California, Irvine, submitted a proposed amicus brief urging the court to dismiss the case. They argue that interpreting rap lyrics as literal truth sets a dangerous precedent that could threaten freedom of expression and disproportionately affect hip-hop artists. These academics caution against what they describe as the harms that arise when courts treat rap lyrics as confessions or factual representations. Their position is clear. Advancing a case like this risks blurring the distinction between art and reality in a way that could have far-reaching consequences beyond just Drake and Kendrick Lamar. However, from Drake's viewpoint, this situation transcends art. It constitutes defamation. He believes that UMG, a company that profits from his music, would also allegedly use its resources to promote a song that attacks him. This is not merely a betrayal, it amounts to business sabotage. The irony is hard to overlook. Both Drake and Lamar are signed to the same record label, yet their dispute has escalated beyond the studio and into federal court. Meanwhile, Kojo Mene Asamoah remains an enigmatic figure at the center of the situation. With the court allowing for alternative service, Drake's team may soon have the opportunity to interrogate him under oath. If their suspicions are accurate, his testimony could bolster their allegations of botting and manipulation. Conversely, if it doesn't support their claims, it could further undermine their case. The journey ahead is lengthy. UMG's motion to dismiss is still awaiting a decision, and the case is far from being ready for trial. However, one thing is certain, this issue isn't going to fade away quietly. Each new filing, ruling, and piece of testimony could alter the narrative, not only in the courtroom but also in the public eye. In a sense, this might be part of the strategy. For artists like Drake, public perception can be just as important as a legal verdict. Whether this is about vindicating his reputation, making a statement regarding industry politics, or simply refusing to let a rival's accusations go unanswered, Drake is determined to tackle this battle on multiple fronts. The pressing question now is whether the legal system will recognize this as a valid defamation case or dismiss it as just another episode in hip-hop's extensive history of lyrical conflicts. Regardless of the outcome, the stakes are significant. Careers, reputations, and potentially even legal precedents are at risk. With each action, be it sending documents via email or analyzing halftime shows, the situation becomes increasingly complicated. Thus, the search for answers persists, and for the time being, the situation remains ongoing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the story.